I am never letting you make a video again. Welcome back aboard the spooky polite ship, everyone. And today is the last day of Halloween in May. And so, it's time for the Halloween in May finale. Get ready, because this is going to be a little bit of a long one. And for the Halloween in May finale, I'll be going back through the years and explaining why it started off as a complete failure and ended up being probably my favorite mini holiday. But for that, we're going to need to jump back, I believe, about 4 years ago, something like that. So, we're going to start actually a lot earlier than that with Christmas in July. I was always a fan of Christmas. Christmas has always been my favorite holiday. But I noticed something. Christmas in July was already a somewhat known thing that people just did. However, I decided to take it to the next level one year because I was bored all summer and had literally nothing to do. And so that's how Christmas in July started. And after Christmas in July became a somewhat bigger thing, like a couple years after that, I decided why not do one for Halloween. Now, when it came to picking a month, I was in the dark. Like I said earlier, Christmas in July is kind of already like a somewhat known thing. But it's also well known that halfway to Halloween is April. But there was an issue with doing Halloween in April. You see, I want to say 90% of the time, Easter happens in April, which means our house is very, minimally decorated. And having that stuff and this stuff up at the same time, it's already chaotic enough that we even have decorations for Easter in the first place, let alone throw this in on top of it. So I decided to push it back a month, because technically, if you really think about it, July isn't halfway to December either. But I still wanted there to be that 1 month gap in between Halloween and Christmas, just like there is with November. So I decided to do Halloween the next month over in May. No, this is not hinting at a Thanksgiving in June. Why would I do that? So going off what I did for Christmas in July, I already knew immediately I needed the projector, but there was a problem. So the projector, that was back before we got the separate projectors for Halloween and Christmas for the outside. So we originally, I think I said this before, used to use this one for outside because you could switch the slides for different holidays. So we used it for both Christmas and Halloween. And so it's just kind of floating around in the basement every year because we use it for both. We still use it for a bunch of different things. In fact, recently it's just been up in the closet for some reason. And I guess I was stupid when I put the projector away. I completely forgot about Christmas in July. And then Halloween in May, I didn't even plan that up until right before May. So I just randomly came up with it one day and decided to do it, but by the time I did, it was too late to go downstairs and make sure any of the stuff I needed was out, meaning that nothing was actually able to get to, which clearly I don't really care about anymore anyway, because this. But as I was saying, the original idea for Christmas in July and Halloween in May was that the only stuff we would bring out is the stuff we can actually get to until I started to have designated things. And then we knew that year what to leave out for Christmas in July and Halloween in May. But clearly my father completely ignored that because we still keep putting this box at the very back. So the projector was missing. And so was the box for all my room stuff, which isn't that much anyway. The only thing from my room that's out here are Spooky Bones, Ghosty Ghost Bouncy, and the Jack Skellington. And then, of course, the pumpkin. But the pumpkin isn't in a box. That was just out anyway. So that was the one thing here now that we could put out. As well as these spider lights, because these were actually up in the pantry the first year of Halloween in May. So we just kind of got them out and threw them up there. Speaking of stuff that's in the pantry, originally we had this Halloween bucket that we put on the table here. And that was pretty much everything up to that point that we could get out. So we literally just had pumpkin, spiders, and bucket thing. Also, by the way, Christmas in July was also a complete flop that year because I had my tree out. I always leave my tree out, but I stupidly didn't leave the box out where the tree's decorations are. And if you saw my decoration process video for Christmas, then you know that and Christmas in July. You know that the box for my tree is separate from the box for my tree's decorations, meaning that when we took the tree out that year for Christmas in July, since the box was nowhere to be found, we ended up having to put the tree up with literally no decorations on it. And on top of all that, Christmas in July is, I'm more willing to dig for this when it comes to Halloween in May than for anything when it comes to Christmas in July, because most of what's in Christmas in July is all in my boxes anyway. And they're always up front because I usually decorate my rooms for Halloween and Christmas first. Now, for some reason, that one year, we forgot to leave literally anything out that I decorate with, which is why this became such a big problem. The only other thing that we were able to find was a centerpiece for the coffee table. So, if you saw my Halloween video, then you know that in the dining room windows, we have those 2 LED pumpkins. We used to have these pumpkins that were like these plastic pumpkins. There were 3 stacked on top of each other, and they lit up. The jack-o'-lantern faces lit up when you plugged them in. I don't even remember what happened to them. I think along with many of our Halloween decorations, those just got old and broke one year. But I remember the first year of Halloween in May, we still had them. And I tried to bring them out and put them on the coffee table because we were really running out of things to put up. The issue was, when I did take out to put them up, there was some sort of bug in there. I can't remember what. There were cobwebs all inside of them. I think that might have been what caused us to throw them out, because they had just become a nesting place for bugs. And also, they were a pain, because every single time we tried to have this window open, they would fall out of the window. So, yeah. Needless to say, those pumpkins did not make it up for the first year of Halloween in May. And so all we had were spider lights, pumpkin. In fact, I don't even know if we had the pumpkin now that I'm thinking about it. And the basket. And then Christmas in July that year was probably the worst year of Christmas in July by far. Because we had the tree, but we had no decorations for it. And when I say no decorations, I mean no tree skirt, no train, no gifts under the tree, no star, if I can remember, no garland, and no balls. So, yeah, that was pretty much a flop for both the mini holidays. And I think after that year, what I realized is that if there's not a big focus point, it's not going to work. Up to that point, Christmas in July always had my tree as the big focus point, and it was the one thing you could draw your attention to, so that when you look in the living room, you automatically know Christmas in July. But we didn't have that for Halloween in May, and it was so minimalistic that it just looked like pointlessness. Like, there's a difference between, you can really tell this is supposed to be them decorating for Halloween in May, and when you can just, okay, so they basically just have random Halloween decorations thrown all over the place. That was basically the difference between that. Because what we have right now, what the heck? Because with what we have right now, you can tell there's a distinct theme going on. It's supposed to be Halloween, or Halloween in May. But the way it was, there was so little that it just looked like we threw random decorations around. And what I could tell from Christmas in July is you can't have too little and you can't have too much, because if you have too much, it just defeats the whole purpose of the mini holiday. And if you have too little, it just looks like you threw random decorations around, which is what we really suffered from that year. So after that year, I'd pretty much come to the conclusion that Halloween in May just wasn't going to work. And so the next year, we just didn't do it. We skipped it and just did Christmas in July. But after that, I did remember to bring up the tree decorations and the projector and make sure they were out where I could get to them for Christmas in July. So Christmas in July was a lot better that year. That year ended up being one of the better years of Christmas in July. Not my favorite, but it was one of the best. And so that inspired me to try Halloween in May again. Not to mention that year had also been the first year on my channel that Christmas in July was mentioned. That's why that first year of my channel, you got Christmas in July, but you didn't get Halloween in May, because I didn't do it. However, the next year over, which was last year, I did do Halloween in May, with the addition of the village, because I decided, you know what? Forget all that. I'm old enough now that I can act, because one of the issues before with getting the stuff that was in the back was that I couldn't lift all that stuff before because I wasn't strong enough. And so I needed their help to get it out. So they needed to make sure it was something that they felt like doing, and they never feel like doing anything. So basically they had to go out of their way to get the stuff for me, unless I was going to do it myself. And my dad loves the stuff back there to be organized, so he couldn't really trust me to fix it the right way myself until, like, 2 years ago. But now that I was trustworthy enough to get the stuff myself, I decided I was going to attempt this. Because I saw that there were 3 levels on this thing, and perfectly matched 3 main houses in my mom's village. I wasn't going to bring up my dad's village to begin with. I tried, but obviously said no to that, especially after what happened with the graveyard party this year. I still haven't explained that yet, have I? But regardless, I'll explain that when Halloween comes around. But as I was saying, right, so now I decided, why not get these things out? And I also decided to bring some of the figures along that go with the houses, if there are. So I only brought up the 3 main houses, and that really got me more into Halloween in May. On top of that, I brought the projector back, mostly because I actually just remembered to leave it out this time. I also got this guy back, and I managed to remember to leave my Halloween stuff out the years after that big mistake, because that was also a problem for decorating my rooms early. On top of that, I had this Mickey necklace thing that I decided to use. I took the centerpiece from the coffee table and put that over here, and then filled the bowl with the Mickey stuff. I brought the spider lights back up, but by this point we had started using them for Halloween and regular... What? As I was saying, we started using them for regular Halloween, which meant that they were now buried in a tub instead of just being in the pantry closet like they were before. This thing is also always out, so I decided to get that too. And all of this ultimately led Halloween in May last year, the first time it was featured on my channel, to be a really big success. And so what did I do this year? I took that and amplified it, mostly because some of the stuff I have last year disappeared. The reason I have this witch bottle that broke but then worked, but then broke, that then worked, but then broke again, but then now works here is because after last year, that stuff mysteriously, just the Mickey necklace mysteriously disappeared. So, witch bottle. I also had to dig for this. And then we got this from my grandmother, so we decided to take this too and put this here. This is also... If you remember, I don't remember if I told you about this or not, during Christmas, we have one of these. It's just like this, but it's for Christmas. It's a lamppost with snowmen right over here, actually. And so I'm guessing this is where this is going to go for Halloween, too, because it's exactly where the one for Christmas goes. But that, in short, or I guess in long, if you want to say, is how we got Halloween in May where it is today. But after this video, there's one issue now. What am I doing next year for the introduction?
You see, basically, what Polite didn't realize here is that he's stupid.
Or, you could just not talk.
Jeez, okay.
As I was saying, what I did realize is that, yes, I am kind of stupid, because my plan originally was for all the introduction videos. So you know how every year we have a big kickoff video. The first year it was decoration tour. The second year it was decorating process for all of the holiday specials. But now I was planning on making it a history of the holiday in our house. The problem is I've now done that for Halloween in May, which means I'm going to have to improvise something for next year. But I guess you guys can give me some help with that? So comment down below what you guys think I should do for next year's Halloween in May introduction video, and thanks for watching. Do get seasick. Boo!